Hello, my name is Andy Moore and I'm the Distinctions Manager for the Royal Photographic Society. And today I'd like to talk you through the process of applying for a licentiate via the portal. So first of all, we'll provide a link, and when you click on that link, it will bring up this page. And this page is the start of the process for applying. So as you can see here, it gives you a bit of information about the entry and application portal and about using the portal. It's extremely straightforward, and hopefully you find it very easy to make the application. So let's start off. First of all, you would click on the login details, as you can see on the left hand side. Once you do that, it will take you to the RPS portal. And this is where you do need an RPS portal account to apply for licentiate. So in here, you would enter your email address and obviously your password. If you haven't got an RPS portal account, don't worry, very easy to create one. You just click on this hyperlink here, not registered yet. That will take you through to another page, create your account, create a password. And once you have your email and password, you can come back to this page, enter your details, and then log in. If you've got an RPS portal account, but you can't remember your password, again, very easy. Just click on forget password, and then it will send an email to you and it will tell you how that you can reset your password. We are aware that some members do have two emails, one for the RPS portal account, and one is their primary email address that they would normally receive RPS emails, and they could be different. And that's okay. But if you do want to make the RPS portal account and your primary email for receiving notifications from the RPS the same email, you can do this by logging into your RPS portal account, your members account, and update it. If you have any concerns or any questions, please feel free to email us at membership@rps.org. Okay, so you've got your email address, you've got your password, and then you click login. And then this takes you to this page. And this page is the start entry page. As you can see here at the top, it's got some important information about dates. It's got a bit of information about support. And then you've got 3 points here that I'd like to draw your attention to. One is you may edit your entry upon submitting. So do not worry that actually once you've paid for it and then you upload your images, there's plenty of time to edit those images, remove those images, add more images, and I'll talk you through that. So it's very intuitive and very easy to manage. Please make sure your personal details are entered accurately, including contact details. This is absolutely very important to us to make sure that we've got the right information so we can contact you. And finally, entry fees may be paid by credit card only. And I'll go on to that about payment on the next page. So you're ready to apply for the licentiate. So I click on start entry, and that will come up to this page here. And as you can see, there's 4 tabs here, and 3 of the tabs are grayed out and you can't access those. They will become available for you to click on once a payment has been received. So we go down to the second bit, which is the category. At the moment, it's pre-filled in for you because it's only licentiate we're offering through this portal. Ultimately, we hope to offer bursaries, maybe membership competitions. So you would have a drop-down menu and you would choose the relevant category you would like to apply for. But in this case, as I said, it's pre-filled out as because we're only offering licentiate. The next one is the entry name, and this relates to the application you're making. So this is a choice for you to decide how best to name the entry so that you can refer back to that if you ever need to go back to this application in a year's time or whatever. So I would recommend that I would put licentiate August 2024. That way, that's very easy to identify that this application is at this level on this particular month in this particular year. But again, the choice is yours. The next step before you go into the payment is agreeing to the terms and conditions. And there's a hyperlink here. You can just click on that. It'll take you and open up the page of terms and conditions. You can read those, make sure you're happy with those. And once you are, then you need to just click there. You can't proceed until you click the terms and conditions, and then you pay now to enter. And that takes you onto the payment page. Again, extremely straightforward. The fee is £85. That hasn't changed in quite a few years. We ask you to be paid in pounds. We ask you to put in your billing address, and then you would select which payment method you would like to make the application with. So for example, if you chose Visa, it would pop out a window. You'd put in the Visa details or your credit card details, proceed to payment, and then it would go on the next stage. But for the purpose of this video, I will use a discount code. And that means I can go on to the next page and show you the next part of the process. So as you can see at the top, it says payment successful. So again, once you've paid your £85 through the credit card, you'll receive that it has been paid. And then this opens up the other 3 tabs that I mentioned earlier that were grayed out. These are available for you to click on. We've worked extremely hard to make sure that this is a logical order when you make an application for licentiate. So even though you can click on any of these tabs, we would recommend that actually you follow the tab process. It would make it a lot easier for you. So let's look at the first one, entry dates. We don't have an assessment dates like we used to have as such. We now just have cutoff dates, which are really easy to identify and very good for the applicant because there's no pressure on you when to actually make a submission. So as you can see there, all entries are reviewed and assessed monthly following the last Sunday of each month. So really easy to remember that the cutoff dates for us now are the last Sunday of each month. So let's take the first one as an example. So the first cutoff date we're going to have is Sunday, the 29th of September. So if you submit before that date or on that date, you'll be notified of the outcome and receive feedback week commencing the 4th of November, which is approximately about 6 weeks. And for the first time ever since 1972, we're actually going to give feedback on applicants that are now successful. It's always been unsuccessful, and we've always tried to work on a process how we could give successful applicants the feedback, and this enables us to do this. So this is a real step forward for us and hopefully the applicants as well. It's important if you are successful to know where the key areas are and why you were successful. Again, if you're not ready by the 29th of September, then obviously the next available is Sunday, the 27th of October, again, the Sunday. And again, if you hit the submit button before that date, I should say, you'll be notified by Monday, the 2nd of December. So like I said, if I miss the 29th of September and I go into October, so I hit the submit button on the 5th of October, it will be Sunday, the 27th, or the Monday after, we'll start looking at those applications and start assessing those. And again, we've got 4 dates here, but of course we'll enter and add 2025 as over the coming weeks as well. And it will just be the Sunday of each month. So pretty flexible, easy to remember, hopefully the last Sunday of the month, gives you the flexibility that you can just take your time and you only apply when you are ready in your own time. Once you've had those one-to-ones, you can have up to 2 one-to-ones on the same set of images. So if there's a slight delay in the one-to-ones, you don't feel under pressure that you've got to hit a certain date as such. There's definitely flexibility there. So I've got my dates. I know my dates, so I can always refer back to that. So I'm now going to hit save and next. So that moves me on to the entry details. Now, if you haven't applied for a licentiate before in the last 2 years, then you would just click no, and then you'll go straight on to the save and close and move on to the entry upload. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to show if anybody has applied in the last 2 years and the questions that we ask you. So yes, I have applied in the last 2 years. And then this pops out a couple more questions. What is the date of most recent entry for this distinction? Again, probably like many, I can't always remember the date that I applied, but we just need the approximate date. But as you can see here at the end, you can see that little icon there, and you can just click on there, and that just gives you that little bit of extra information, and they're dotted around the whole of this process. So where you see that icon there, it's worth just clicking on because that just gives you a helpful tip. So if you're unsure of the date, choose the approximate date. Well, for me, I know it was July last year, but I can't remember the exact date. So I will go back, hit there, look, the calendar pops up, look for July. There you are. I know it was a Wednesday. Can't remember if it's the 12th or 19th, but I think it was the 12th. I'll put that date. In what format did you submit your most recent entry? Then it's print, digital, or book. Digital. And then please note, feedback or presentation layout uploaded must not contain your name. And this is a really important part of the process, because the process, as all our processes are, and applications for licentiate, associate and fellowship are all anonymous. So it's important, if you load any information of your presentation layout or your feedback, that you do remove your name. There's a variety of ways of doing it. You could do it in Photoshop or Lightroom. I personally use snipping tool quite a bit. It's quite handy and very easy to do, and we're more than happy for that. So please make sure that all names are removed. If for any reason you don't notice that you've not removed a name, when we actually review all applications, we will remove the name for you. We'd obviously prefer if the applicant could do it themselves. And if you've got any questions about this, then please feel free to email us at distinctions@rps.org. Okay, it tells you a bit about some of the software that you can actually use to remove. So if possible, can you provide the presentation layout? So I've actually got that on my desktop already, so I can drag the files over, or I can select the files. So it wants the presentation layout. So there's my presentation layout. I click on there. It's uploading, it's processing. So it's there, available now. I can download it if I would like, or if I've made a mistake and I've uploaded the wrong presentation layout, I can delete it. I scroll down, it's now asking for the feedback. Again, I do the same process, select the file, look for the feedback. And again, it's uploaded. I can delete it, or I can download it. Now, this part, even at the beginning, when I said, if you haven't applied in the last 2 years, you can click no. On that section, you still need to fill in this bit, which I forgot to mention, apologies. So you would need to put your name if you were successful for your certificate. So for me, I'm just going to put Andy Moore. So I think that's all done. So I could save and close if I get a phone call or I get a knock at the door and I need to stop. Very straightforward. Just save and close it so that I can come back into it, and all the information I've put in so far will still be there. But for this instance, I'll do save and next. So that's the bit about my previous application. So this is about the application I'm about to make. So, okay, let me have a look at the file dimensions that you want. Well, this hasn't changed, even though we've moved to an online assessment. The pixel dimensions and everything it requires has been exactly the same for many years. There's one point I would like to make on here, especially this one, and we do get a few questions about this, is maximum pixel dimensions, 3840 by 2160. And as it says there, it's the maximum pixels. We would recommend trying to get as close to that number if possible, because then we know that it's a high resolution file that's going to come to us. I wouldn't go too low, like 1024 by 768, because then the image could break up. So I think the best way is to try to get as near those numbers as possible. As long as it's under 3840 and under 2160, it's absolutely fine by us. And the other requirements are just there. Again, if you've got any further questions, just contact the distinctions department. Now, there's 2 points here. One is about this tick box, which I'll speak to and tell you a bit later, and also the presentation layout. For example, if you've got your 10 images and you've done your presentation and all you're going to do is apply for licensure, you've done everything you need to do, then you could just upload your presentation and your images. But I'm going to show you for people that haven't quite ready or decided what they're going to submit at this stage. So I'll skip those 2 bits at the moment, and I go on to this bit here. And very much like the previous page where you upload your feedback or presentation layout, it's exactly the same. Drag and drop your files or select attachments. And again, I've got my images here, JPEG images. I highlight the whole lot, open, and that populates the 10 images. And as you can see, there's all my 10 images already. This is where I think this system is extremely good and extremely helpful for applicants. I've uploaded my images, and there's a couple of questions I'll go on to in a minute that we're asking you. But before I do, actually, I think the order is not quite right. I think I'm actually going to move some images around. How do I do that? Do I have to delete them, re-upload them? No. As you can see, next to each of the numbers is an arrow to the left and an arrow to the right. And it's it's very self-explanatory. If I want to move image 3 to image 4 position, I just click on the arrow. It's as simple as that. And again, if I look down here and I think, well, actually, image 6, I want it to be 5. Great. And actually, number 6 now, 5 was now number 6. Actually, 6, I want it to be number 7. I can just move that over. Very straightforward to actually move the images over. And that's a real good part of the process and the system as well. So move your images around as much as you would like. So I've done that and I'm happy with that. Now it's asking me 2 questions on the images. Did you engage a third party to set up this image? And have you submitted this image before? So let's go to the first question. Again, as you can see, there's a little icon with a question mark there. So if I click on there, what extra information? A third party setup refers to a location or pseudo setup for individuals or groups. There's no rules or regulations of how many third-party images you can have in your licentiate, but I think there's a rough idea. I think 2 or 3 is probably about maximum you should put into a licentiate, because one of the criteria is visual awareness. And as soon as you start going beyond up to nearly half your panel where it's a third-party setup, that does impact how the assessors will look at visual awareness, because that's not you as a photographer, that's really a third party helping you create that image. A third-party image, as I said, is really when they've really helped you create that image. So if you're doing a picture of a model, let's say, and they've done the lighting and they've done the setup and they're really guiding you how to take the images, that's what we consider a third-party setup. What we don't consider, where many people think it is a third party, which it isn't, is, for example, if you do go on a workshop, let's say, it could be an RPS workshop, and it's into the woods shooting bluebells, by one of our assessors who's given you guidance. So you go in there with a group of people. So they've taken you to the woods. They've showed you the location, of course, and they're giving you some useful tips about lights and angles. That's absolutely fine. And then you go off and you start taking your own individual images. That's not a third party setup, because you are taking your own individual images. Yes, you've been shown the woods. Yes, you've been given some direction, but ultimately you're going to create images that probably nobody else on that workshop has. And that is really the difference. If the person running the workshop was standing there and guiding 6 or 7 of you, or even 2 or 3 of you, which images to take of the bluebell, and getting you to go to a lower point and take certain images, and all group of you were getting roughly the same images, well, that constitutes a third-party setup. But if in any doubt, best to contact us via email at distinctions@rps.org. Excuse me. Have you submitted this image before? Again, if you go to the icon, question mark, has this image appeared within the previous submission? If it has, please choose yes. Or if it's an entirely new image, please select no. So pretty straightforward. So if you've submitted this image before, for example, unfortunately, this image was one of the images that we fed in the feedback that wasn't quite to the level that we were looking for. And let's take an example that had 4 sensor spots on it, so it didn't make the grade. But now you've adjusted that. So what you could do on here, or what you should do, I should say, is that you say, yes, you have submitted it before. It pops up a little box here and you've got 50 words. And you could just type in there, I have removed the 4 sensor spots. So that tells us that the feedback was this, and this is what you've done to address the issues. And like I said, you've got 50 words. So you go through and tick all this and give all the information for every individual image. You can do that in one go. You could upload all your 10 images, and when you're finally there, you can go through and answer all those questions. Or you could, if you've got to a stage where you've got 3 images and 100% they're going to be part of your overall submission for 10, you can answer these as you go along. But to make this easier, I'm going to click no on all of these, just to make it easy. So I'll go around and click no on all that, all the images. So I've done that, click no on all those. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to forget to tick this box, and I'll show you what happens when you forget to tick one of these, 2 of these boxes. As I said, you can only upload 10 images at a time. It can't go greater than 10 images. You can have 3, 4, or 5 just showing, but you can't have greater than 10. If you decide at the very last moment, actually, I'd like to change this image, I don't like this image, I'm going to actually delete it, then obviously this box appears and it gives you an opportunity to upload another image. So again, I click on there, and I think if you try to upload these 3 images, it would say you've reached the maximum and it wouldn't upload them. So you can only upload the amount of images that makes up to 10. So there you are. It's now uploaded that image. and it tells me there the maximum's been reached. But like I said, I'll leave that box, those 2 boxes unchecked. So I'm happy with that. I've got my 10 images. I'm nearly ready to submit. I've got my presentation layout ready because I've got my numbers in the right order. So then I select the file and I will upload my presentation layout. Again, exactly the same before, processing. If I've uploaded the wrong one, I can easily replace it. Just click there, replace, and I can download it. There's also text here that's worth reading on why we asked for a presentation layout. So at this point, I think I'm ready, but I'm not ready to submit. I need to go away and think about it. Again, you can scroll down the bottom and use the save and close button and come back to it anytime you want. At this stage, I think this is where this button comes into play. You could just preview it before you go on to the next stage. So if I just click preview, that would just give me an information on one page of everything that I've answered so far. So I've done the terms and conditions. You have to tick those to move on to the next page. I've said I've applied in the last 2 years. I've given you the date. It was digital. Just reminding you to make sure there's no information about you on the presentation layout and the feedback. And I can scroll down. Yep. And I can double check that. But obviously we'll assume that every image has been ticked correctly. But as you can see there, you notice I hadn't ticked the 2 boxes for 10. It's not showing those boxes. So that's another warning sign for you as well, that maybe you've missed something. But let's just say I think I've still done it. I haven't noticed that. I go back and I think, right, I've done everything. I've checked everything. I'm absolutely ready to submit. So before you do, you need to come and tick this box, which is really just a fail-safe for you before you make the final submission. So please tick this box to confirm that you understand that you will enable to make any further changes to your entry once you click the submit entry button below. So just before you do that, it's just having that preview just to making sure everything's okay. So I've checked it. I'm happy with it. I click on that box. I'm ready to submit for the licentiate submit entry, and we'll see what happens. There you are. Whoa, it's not ready yet. So it's picked up that I haven't ticked all the boxes because they're not optional, they're compulsory. So I've obviously missed something. So I need to scroll down, and as I can see, there it is highlighted. This field is required. So that's what I've missed. So I click no, it's now happy. I will now submit entry. And that's it. I hope you found the video useful. We do believe it's a very intuitive system. It's very easy to follow. Definitely use the save and close button. If you whatever stage you are, you've got opportunities to walk away, come back and view it. Very easy to move your images around, upload your presentation. Please make sure there's no information about your name on any of the documentation. And I think that's it. So it just leaves me to say, I wish you all the best in applying for a licentiate from me, Simon Verco, and Laura Foster, who works in the distinctions department, and everybody at Bristol. Thank you very much.